So I've gathered you all here today to bring about a revolutionary idea. What if we took Sonic, and we took away all his defining characteristics and made him slow as hell and awkward to control?
Write this man a check right now.
I know what you're thinking. Goddamn, it's 2020, when did that happen? And also, why on earth is he talking about a game that came out 25 years ago that people tend to ignore? Well, you can blame my overactive brain for that. The other night I was lying awake at 3 AM trying to sleep desperately when I started thinking about Labyrinth for whatever reason, and then that turned to Sonic Labyrinth because I'm way too far gone at this point, let's be honest. Sonic Labyrinth is a game I always knew about but never touched because the general consensus is that it's really bad, but did that stop me from playing other critically panned entries in the series?
Gosh, I really wish it had.
Going into this one, I was expecting something even more awkward and monotonous than Sonic Boom, but I, actually kinda liked it. Please don't leave, let me explain myself. I don't think by any means this is a good Sonic game. Heck, I mean, it's about as much of a Sonic game as Tails and the Music Maker, but it's not a bad game, per se. There's a lot about this game that offered me some legitimate entertainment, but that doesn't mean it was an amazing experience the entire way through. But I'll bring up those grievances when they're relevant. And oh boy, did they become relevant really fast and right at the beginning of the video. Now, for the purpose of this video, I didn't emulate the game since I found out I could play it really easily on real hardware. Yep, for the first time in a very long time, I dug up my 3DS and downloaded the game off the eShop. For $5. What? I wasn't about to play on a Game Gear. Look at that thing. The screen's shittier than the flip phone I had in middle school. Plus, I don't really know if I could even record off that thing, so 3DS it is. I believe you can also play it in Sonic Adventure DX on GameCube and then on the Steam release if you have better SADX. But I wasn't about to boot up Sonic Adventure and take the chance that I start playing the superior game instead of the game I'm trying to talk about. God, I really love this capture card though. I really need more excuses to use it. From my understanding, this game does have a story, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't read the manual. Apparently, Eggman found a way to negate Sonic's speed, so he somehow switches out Sonic's regular shoes with a pair that aren't quite as cool, and bam, Eggman can take over the world. That intro wasn't a joke, by the way. I don't think this game controls very well, and that's bound to be the first thing you notice about the game, so let's get out of the way. You move pitifully slow in this game. Imagine Silver from 06, except slower. Your spin dash, on the other hand, yeah, this is your main method of traversing stages, and it's not really a good thing. You either go way too far or not far enough, but either way, you usually end up hitting an enemy. Most of the time that's off screen, because how could you know it was there if you've never played the game before, you know? It's kind of a weird system. Instead of just reaching the goal and patting yourself on the back for a job well done, you've got to locate 3 keys in each stage before you're allowed to leave. And since your hands are full of keys, forget patting yourself on the back. Though you are incredibly lucky if you make it to the goal without colliding with an enemy, which, as I mentioned earlier, is pretty damn easy to do. And as soon as you take damage, those keys are gone and you lose time off your timer. So not only do you have less time to get to the goal, but you also need to scramble like a fool and pick up all of the keys you were carrying before they disappear and reset back to their original locations. Dear God, that's so much worse than rings. It's usually pretty simple to pick them up after you drop them, but I've had like 1 or 2 instances in this game where there are like multiple levels to a level, and I got hit, and one of the keys just fell down to one of the other levels that I could not get to in time before it vanished, so I just had to go all the way back to where the key was. And then I lost, because I didn't have enough time. Though this did only happen once or twice, so it's not a huge issue in my opinion, it's just a little annoyance that kind of adds on top of other little annoying things. Once you take the time to get used to the controls and you realize you can cancel your spin dash, the game becomes a lot less of, oh god, where am I going? Am I going too fast? Should I call my family and tell them I love them? To, oh man, I uncurled too early and I still got hit. Nice. So in summary, the controls are just generally pretty awful. I don't really know if there's a way to get used to them fully, but... What is that noise? Hello?
Hello?
Dave? That is so weird. You called me right at the exact time when the game made me think I was getting a call.
No, I think that was the game.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes even less sense that we're playing Labyrinth at the same time, and neither of us mentioned it.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Though I'm not really sure why you're playing it again after you told me you hated it.
What are you talking about?
That's not important, but what level are you in right now? I was just about to talk about the level design.
Actually, I've got some stuff to say about that. Give me a second to get comfortable.
This skit is ridiculous, and I can't wait for you to see why. So I want you to think of some first levels from the best games ever made. When booting these things up, it might be the first time you've ever played a platformer, or hell, for Mario's case, maybe it was even the first time you played a video game in general. The first level serves as an excellent way to teach the player what and what not to do without explicitly telling them. Sonic Labyrinth does this with its first level, but the second level does it a lot better in my opinion. The first level throws a ton of stage elements at you, but it's so flat and boring that it feels like a test level you'd see buried in a 3D Mario game. Sure, it's pretty innocuous, but the second level does all of that, and it's fun. It did a much better job teaching me essential game mechanics than the first, and it was a lot easier to find the keys, but it still made it a challenge. And it also introduced slopes, which are very prominent in the game, so it would have been nice to be acquainted with those as soon as possible. There are also power-ups in this game. One of them gives you time, one of them gives you invincibility, there's another one that I have no idea what it does, and then there's one that makes you a little bit faster, and it's not even like a game-breaking fast. So it kind of makes me wonder why they didn't just make that the default speed. I mean, I don't think it would have hurt anything, that's for sure.
Did you talk about how bad the controls are yet?
Yeah.
What about the level design?
Still in the middle of that.
Alright, I've got this. So, coming from my point of view of what I've played so far, I haven't really gotten far into Labyrinth, but I will say that from my experience of the first level, it was not the best, and I don't think that should be the way to start off any kind of level, as you were saying previously. The first level doesn't do a good job at representing the gameplay mechanics. It just throws you in and sort of expects you to know what to do, because coming into the first level, the first thing that you come up on is a conveyor belt, and you know, you're just like, oh cool, a conveyor belt, what does this do? You go and stand on it and you just move back and forward, and you probably play with that a few times. I think I did. And then walking around the level, you're tasked with picking up keys. You don't really find that out until you see a key laying around and you collect it, and it's like, oh, it's Ready Player One, except it's Sonic. Scattered throughout all of the first level is a bunch of things. I guess they just wanted to give you a sandbox experience first, rather than throwing you into some kind of tutorial level. There are various different enemies that can be found throughout the zone, even though I think I've only managed to find one. There is something that looks like spikes that could actually hurt you, but it's actually a power-up thing. I don't know why that's there. And overall, I just gotta really say the level design was kind of all over the place in level 1.
Yeah, I kind of see both sides of this, but it looks like we're coming up on the boss, and I gotta say I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if Sonic can defeat a Minotaur.
Minotaur?
Yeah, you know, Minotaurs and Labyrinths go hand in hand, kind of like...
Jelly and chicken?
So where were we? Oh god, this is kind of hard in the eyes. Now that I think about it though, the entire game is sort of hard to look at. Not saying the graphics aren't good, on the contrary, I actually think this game looks pretty good for an 8-bit handheld title, but it's more when things are moving really fast, like in this bonus section. I almost want to look away and save my eyes the trouble. As I kept playing, my eyes adapted to the regular gameplay pretty well, but these ramps are still kind of a no-go. And on the subject of graphics, this game is giving me some serious flashbacks to a series I hold very close to my heart, and I'm honestly kind of shocked. But, this game radiates huge Mega Man Battle Network energy. Not sure whether to be disturbed or happy about that. Finally, we're here, the culmination of our adventure through the Labyrinth of the Sky, and... all of the bosses are like this. If you can manage to just wedge yourself into a snug spot and fly back and forth, they just kind of melt. Aside from the last one, that one's actually a little bit more frustrating because its hitbox is really bad. I kept getting killed almost randomly by doing the exact same thing over and over, and while it was working, sometimes... What even just happened? I feel like I need a debriefing.
Please don't do that again.
No promises.
Oh, you already beat the boss?
Yeah, it took like milliseconds. That's kind of sad.
My experience with the boss wasn't so great. Sure, it looks easy and probably is very simple, but with how Sonic controls in Labyrinth just really threw me off, and I was not having a fun time.
But hopefully it gets better as the game progresses.
Yeah, buddy. I'm sure they do. I'm gonna let you get back to it, alright?
Alright, well, I'll see you and Frank tomorrow then.
Sure. have no idea what he's talking about.
Okay, bye. The game was making a telephone ringing noise.
Look, I gotta level with you. I enjoyed my time with this game, but this was one of a few frustrating instances that almost made me put it down. Others include this dumb shit. I must have sped past this area 4 or 5 times looking for a way to get the last key, but what you need to do is sit here and be a patient little piggy until Mr. Platform pops into existence fashionably late. I don't know if this doesn't spawn unless you wait there, but in a game like this where it's easy to bounce around with almost no control of where you stop, that kinda sucks. Then there was the final level before the end of the game. It's a real labyrinth. Makes sense. I mean, I guess I'm glad every single level wasn't like that, but it took forever to figure out where to go and what doors led where and where the keys were, especially because you were still on a time limit. Jeez, anxiety the level. But it's just something about the simplistic nature and short runtime of the levels, aside from 4-3, that just won me over. Even when I managed to die, which was pretty hard to do, it didn't take long before I was back up to speed, or lack of speed, rather. I don't know, Sonic doesn't move fast, it was a figure of speech. It's sort of funny though, I always see people criticizing Labyrinth for being a slow Sonic game, but in my opinion it's actually pretty dang fast if you give it a chance. It only took around an hour to finish and it didn't overstay its welcome at all, which makes it worthy of replaying in my book. Upon beating the last boss and collecting your 3 Chaos Emeralds and 2 diamonds, Sonic chases Eggman out of his own facility and he hits the road. Yeah, what the game said. This game certainly isn't a masterpiece by any stretch of the term, but there is something here that you might enjoy if you think of it as just a game and not a Sonic game. This reminds me of, and God, I really hate talking about this game, but Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I like that game, because I'm guilty of exactly what I just mentioned. I swore that game off because it wasn't Banjo. But deep down, I don't think it's a bad game. It just didn't sit right with me that a game of such a vastly different genre was hailed as the 3rd canon entry in the Banjo franchise, or 4th if you count Grunty's Revenge, which you should. It's a great game. Slightly different situation, sure, but if this game had starred motherfucking Tip-Top the Turtle from Diddy Kong Racing, then maybe it wouldn't be as hated as it is now. Moral of the story, maybe sometime we just gotta swallow the biases we hold and enjoy games for what they are instead of comparing them to other things. Unless we're talking about Paper Mario Sticker Star, I'll hate that game till the day I die. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this all the way through. I had a lot of fun making this one. Huge thanks to DaveAce for helping me out with this video. It was a great time working with you again. Like, I'm talking like we're business partners. We've been friends for years. But anyway, if you like this video and you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell, follow my Twitter, and join the Discord to keep up with more review things and other things that aren't review things, because I do a lot of things. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my current supporters, who are Raiden Still Plays, Chaotic Mercenary, Cosmic Mushroom, Ty Little Tech Guy, Silva PhD, Jaded Indolent, Jeremy, Lucas Tallman, Mega Traffic Cone, Crystal, and Mike TGC. If you want to know how to get your name on this list, please go ahead and click the join button beneath the video, and you'll get all sorts of perks, such as shoutouts at the end of every single video and stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, I'm at MagFest. Come find me. Say hi.